are beings from the universe, living in nature, finding our way, making our path through time, looking for beauty. That is why we created the Keshe Foundation Gans Mask, to keep your beauty, to rejuvenate the skin and help it stay young through your life. The Keshe Foundation space technology embedded in the mask brings balance not only to your body and mind, but also balances your soul. Enjoy living happily in balance and beauty. Keshe Gans Mask, your beauty from the universe.
Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to the second part of the 390th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, July 22nd, 2021. Okay, Mr. Keshe, are you ready to begin the questions part here?
Yep.
Okay.
Willing, able.
As usual. I'll let the attendees know here in the Zoom meeting that they can put their virtual hands up if they have a question. And we have a couple of questions in the Q&A here to begin. Akbar has a question in the Q&A. Hello, Mr. Keshe, greeting. The body of man contains 12 salts. Are we allowed to add them to the container?
More or less, if you take this combination of the salts, because 6 of the salts has never been defined. All the salts more or less are in this container.
Okay, and Lissy had an idea also in the Q&A. It says, thank you for the love you give us. And it says it can be a very large cup, and depending on the interactions we want to have and the performance, we can make each cup, each small cups inside, I think she means, each with a specific salinity. Do you think that would be?
We leave it to your imagination. Your background on the screen is black. You don't have your screen usual, Rick. You
should see it there now.
Nope, you still see a black, or is it mine? I think it's still black on the Zoom, on live stream.
Live stream seems to be going out proper with the background image I have. Maybe you can refresh or something there.
Usually comes up on its own. I see the comments, but I don't see your background 390, please.
Sharing again here.
I took a whiteboard and I come up the whiteboard. Now you're back in, yeah.
Okay, so I'll share again.
See your picture now.
Okay, you see it there now?
We'll see it then. Yeah, okay, carry on.
Let's see here. Madad asks, what were the black coils? Are they carbon or copper? I believe you had, it looked like a C, but I believe it was a G beside the black coils for
These
galvanized.
are galvanized plates.
Okay, we have a couple of hands up here. We have Ed, go ahead first, and then Marco.
Good morning, Mr. Cash. This is Ed. One of the things I have never understood in regards to the connections that you're going to leave to us. I don't understand. I have never understood exactly what is going through the wires when we connect. I mean, I know it has to be electricity because we put diodes and stuff to regulate, but I've never understood the purpose of this connection that we make with wires.
The connection with the wires, in our case, is not mechanical or electrical. Is preferring the preferential line of connection of the plasma. You are not working in a matter state, you're working in the plasma state, you're working in the gas state. So even you connect it with the wire, is you try to show the preferential way of plasma moving. Even when you connect these systems to what you call batteries or power supply, your supply becomes part of the plasma condition, or a part of plasma technology, not a matter state. The minute you put a nano-coated material in any environment, the minute you put a GaNs in any environment, you're not in a matter state anymore. And this is something we have always tried to explain from the beginning. So you might look at it as a matter state, but it's not. It's just showing in a professional way for the fields to move, for the fields to take shape and direction.
So that leads me to ask, how does the presence of a matter state wire create that preference in the plasmatic environment?
The reality is that the matter state itself is still a weak state of plasma on its structure. Now,
okay.
As you open them one by one, you will see they expand, that the wire becomes black inside. And there are many ways to do this. There are many ways to encourage the path of the flow of the plasma.
What would be another way to encourage the flow of the plasma?
Many ways. Many ways.
Okay.
Many
I know
ways.
one to create the flow is this
gradient, creating a gradient flow.
Right, yeah.
Gradient flow.
Okay.
And
all right.
In the space technology of upcoming time, as we've explained, that we are going forward very rapidly with it. We got another 12 days, what I call to the process of peacetime to start, if it goes the way we want. And in that process, this is what I thought nearly 10, 15 years ago. And it's in a couple of papers somewhere I've written. Maybe I explain again for some people to understand. In the space technology of the future, which is upcoming, first phase of it, even with what we plan to do next year with travel into space with the new technology, is that you do not have a position between here and the moon, but you want to create a position to meet somewhere in that position, let's say 1 million kilometers, 500,000 kilometers, wherever. You create what we call space, what you call GPS. But how do you get there? How do you create that position? With understanding the plasmatic field technology, you create your field position ahead of you at the point of arrival. In a way, with the knowledge we have now, we can create our own moon in a field dimension in a given position, and then tune your reactor to move into that position. It's not that there has to be a moon, there has to be a star, there has to be something that you go to. It's in advanced technology. I discussed this I remember in a very strenuous meeting with Lockheed Martin people, discussion in London. The time that you have to have a place to go to is finished. You create the place you want to go to. You have a combination of the gases that is specific to structure of your space reactors. You send ahead a very small package, very powerful package, ahead of you at a position of destination, which arrives within seconds. And then you tune your own space reactors to that position that it gets attracted to, that it gets pulled into, that it gets direction to. The creation of the destination point to go is, in a way, technology on its own. And if you go in some of the teaching in the past, I said people will open service stations and everything in the middle of the way between here and the moon. You can have a coffee or things if you're tired or you want for a fun to see something else. How do we create this position that we know where they are? We give it a specific gravitational magnetic field strength in a spectrum of the destination. In a way, if you look at it, when you go and create the position of the emotion or of happiness in your brain, you can move it, or it can be moved to another position or replicated by interaction of the fields of the physicality, the solar physicality. The game has changed the structure of the game in understanding the gravitational magnetic field has changed. You want to go into a safe position. You don't want to enter, let's say, Mars in one go. You want to see how it is before you go in. You create that position outside of Mars, thousands of, hundreds of thousands of kilometers away from it. And you stand there and you observe what's happening, where you want to land. In a way, when we bring what we call plasmatic transmutation, transportation, that's what we do. We don't need to have another machine, another position. We create miniature field strength of the position, and then we create the condition of interaction. So you can travel anywhere in the universe, independent of the gravitational magnetic field. And this is the knowledge which will come. We release this gradually as we go into the development of the space technology. Teleportation and transportation, what you call it, what we call transmutation, and what we call transfer of the energy of the fields of the plasma of a structure, is very, very simple. In a way, if you remember, we in the present time, we get a dart and arrow, there is nothing to hang on. We shoot an arrow in a what they call a mountain or whatever, and then we pull ourselves to that position becomes a new position. The plasma technology has that possibility, but you don't need an earth to attach yourself to it. You send the plasmatic, what we call field, in the position you want to be, and then you attract yourself to it, because you created it. The code of conduct, the code of approach is in your system. Plasma technology is beautiful if you understand how to work with it. And now we change the position and direction, and many people will move on it very fast. Any other question?
Okay, thank you. We've got Marco with a hand up here as well. Marco, would you like to go ahead?
Okay, good morning, Mr. Cash. Good morning, Rick. The Italian group is asking if you could please define better or in a different way what you mean by galvanized plate.
Galvanized plate is something Keshe Foundation always has used for production of CH3. It's what they put on the roof.
Okay, so in Italian, is it when you have a...
They call it galvanato, I presume.
Galvanizzato, which is not la zincatura. It's
zincatura is another
iron and you
version
put
of it,
zinc
yes.
on it.
Galvanized. Yeah, you call it galvanized, it's not zincatura. But okay. In the normal condition, you just don't have zinc. You have iron in the center, and then you have a mixture of metals, alloys, that then the zinc is part of it. You have nickel, you have copper in that.
Okay. And when we use a galvanized plate, do we have to change it often because it loses its property?
It loses its property, but it does not lose its property. It becomes iron with the other metals which are on it, magnetic field, gravitational field position. This is why when you have a CH3, when you have a CH3, when you produce CH3, is a reddish color, is orangish towards red. Because if you put iron in a gas of CO2, you produce blood. And part of the reddishness is because of the iron which is in the center of the galvanized, which gives this color to, with a mixture of what nickel and copper and zinc produce, gives you that reddish color of the CH3. You actually partially, CH3 is partially blood combination. It's got a carbon and a hydrogen in it. It's the original sugar. It's the original energy which is connected to the blood. Hydrogen and carbon on their own always give a reddish color. Hydrogen on its own is reddish on its own, but depending on the level of the carbon oxide which enters the CH3 compound will give you the different shades of red or orangish, but in essence, the orangish color of it comes from the different reddish orangish color of the CH3 comes partially because of the fields of the iron, which is creation of the blood. When you make these cups, don't shake your ganses and see how many different colors of ganses you will get at the bottom.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Cash, for
Thank
the
you.
explanation.
Okay, we have a question from Masood in the Q&A about how to make the CuO wire. Would that be
What wire?
the copper oxide wire, the nano-coated copper spiral, I assume he's talking about.
We've done that for centuries in Keshe Foundation, I think.
For what seems like centuries, yes. Probably is in actuality. So you're talking about it could be one of two methods, either the fire method or the sodium hydroxide caustic method?
Or
Or
plasmatic.
plasmatic. Okay.
Or you can hold it long enough, it'll be Kelvin with nano coated. But depends how hot your hand is.
Okay. Alfred has a question about enhancing the negative oxygen environment by way of the butterflies and the air enhancement units, etc. Can you give some background why this is beneficial and important? Thank you.
It is the way we behave in the presence of oxygen or lack of fields, which is created that the body of man can absorb more energies. You have to understand, we look at the plasmatic side, not the usual physics. What you call the negative oxygen, it means it's absorption. It's absorbing the energies which are not needed in the body. And understanding oxygen is a gravitational field force becomes what you call like a black hole, and makes the dimension of the what we call motion of the fields more, and this creates a condition for the body to absorb more fields from the environment. We don't look at negative oxygen as is defined in the chemistry. We look at the negative oxygen as a position of the field transfer, which is totally different. The problem with the explanation, the Keshe Foundation work is we use very similar words than the present physics and chemistry, but with a totally different working condition, working operation. Like a plasma. Doctors use as a plasma in the blood, they use as a plasma in the operation of the fields opening, we use plasma in the way of the gas fields combination. The new generation of the air enhancement units will be very different but effective in its work with transfer fields in the environment. Extremely effective. In so many ways, the butterflies are extremely effective in what they're built to do. we, as the sales of the Keshe Foundation is going into full demonstrations, it's not pictures anymore. Gradually in coming weeks, as the Keshe Foundation television studio is ready, hopefully today, we receive it handover today or tomorrow. Then we make different kind of commercials that using the facilities we have in our facilities in the TV station will demonstrate a lot of things that you can see. We expect a huge peak on this with the new advertising coming up with that. The foundation sales has already prepared purchases in the background. We are ready to meet once we start explaining, and you can see it. You can literally physically measure the change. We have equipment in the Keshe Foundation which are specific for these kind of measurements. Keshe Foundation is on a path of adding more work of the knowledge seekers into the what we call portfolio of the Keshe Foundation. We are on an acquisition track. We be bringing in knowledge seekers works to be added to the work of the Keshe Foundation. In a way, as I said in the conference in Bucharest, that we sow the seed, and now we see the beautiful flowers which are growing from this knowledge which is sowed amongst the knowledge seekers. And we are there to support the work and back the research. You will see huge number of new products will come into the what we call Keshe Foundation work in agriculture and in many, many fields. We have got instead of going and setting up and doing everything from zero, we have gone to use the knowledge seekers who've done the work and bring their work as part of the foundation. And we become what we call much more stronger with the work and the support of the what the knowledge seekers have done. And we always cover and support their work. Either way, you will see a lot of new technologies which will come up, new mergers with different scientists, different scientific works. And gradually, new structure of the work will come into Keshe Foundation work. But now we have that freedom to go with the knowledge and with the spread of it. The only thing we might see is slight, what I call improvement or a spread of the knowledge in what we call public domain will come if we reach the position and understanding where the what we call couple of administrations around the world, and then that will bring a total new dimensions to work of the Keshe Foundation. And we have to see how we manage to operate with the new conditions and a new what I call expansion of the Keshe Foundation knowledge, especially in the space technology. Any other question? Do not forget that the Keshe Foundation conference, the first weekend of the September in Linz, there is something on the page. Please go further down the page. People who want to book, it's going to be adjusted, and make your booking. We are inviting scientists to join us. The third week of the September, the agricultural presentation and conference is on, which we start emphasizing and promoting and then we go into the space technology. Number of people will attend what they call LINS conference, and it's very much showing the strength of the new technology, space technology. Somebody's microphone is open.
That would be me. I'm about to introduce either Jefferson or Jalal. Jefferson had a hand up first. Perhaps he can go ahead.
Good night, Ricky. Good night, Mr. Cash. I would like to ask Rafael to help me to be more clear to everybody. Can help me, Rafael? Can you help me?
Translation you want?
Yes, Mr. K.
Raphael? Or is John in the background?
Raphael is there, if that's who you wish.
Hello.
Can you go
hear
ahead?
me?
Yes.
Raphael, good morning, good evening, or good morning
Hello.
to you.
Hello, Mr. Cash. Good morning.
Rafael, bom dia, Rafael.
Oi, Jefferson.
Vou pedir sua ajuda para ficar mais claro para todo mundo. Senhor Cash, eu tenho feito vários testes sobre o fluxo dos campos plasmáticos, dos copos da vida e também de vários equipamentos eletrônicos que eu tenho tido a oportunidade de pesquisar. Recentemente, eu utilizei instrumentos de radiestesia, como, por exemplo, pêndulos, né, e aurímetros, né, para determinar o sentido de fluxo dos campos plasmáticos de lâmpadas LED. Essas lâmpadas LED. Toda a iluminação do planeta está sendo substituída por lâmpadas LED. Mas eu detectei que o fluxo de campo dessas lâmpadas gira no sentido anti-horário, ou seja, no meu entendimento, gravitacional. E um fluxo muito forte, né, acima da cabeça de todas as pessoas. E, pelo que eu entendo da energética do nosso corpo, nós estamos sendo drenados de energia o tempo todo. Em todos os lugares que entramos, supermercados, bancos, para todo lugar, dentro das casas, né, nas nossas residências, nós temos
Só
essas...
para não ficar muito prolongado, Jefferson, por favor.
Para fechar, Rafael, gostaria de saber se, ao colocarmos o loop nano-revestido nessas lâmpadas, porque eu verifiquei que eu consigo inverter o campo e ele roda no sentido horário, ou seja, magnético. Se isso é o recomendado fazer para proteger o nosso campo energético, né? E se isso não traria nenhuma outra desvantagem. Entendeu, Rafael? Deu para resumir?
Sim. Você diz colocar, então, esses loops infinitos sendo revestidos na lâmpada de LED para poder proteger dos campos de energia.
Sim, porque, pelo que eu
Essa
verifiquei,
pergunta.
Rafael, nós estamos sendo drenados pelo chakra coronal. Entendeu? Que é o
Sim.
ponto 1 da
Can we get
bexiga.
a translation in English, please?
Ok, Rafael.
Just one second, sorry. Então, o que o Jefferson estava colocando aqui, na verdade, é o seguinte, né? Ele tem feito muito... Então, he has been doing a lot of tests of the plasmatic fields on electric device. So recently, he used radiesthetic to make measurements to the flow of the LED lights. So he detected the flow of these lights. They are going anti-clockwise by these measurements. So by what he understands, we're being drained in energy in a lot of places that we go now. So if we put, so his question is, if we put the nano-coated loop that you taught us, Mr. Cash, in the LED lights, can I protect this from the energy fields?
I don't understand. Can you repeat?
So his question is mainly if he puts the loop, the infinity loops, nano-coated in the LED lights, because according with what he understood, is LED lights have a movement that can harm people by the fields, and other ways to protect people from the fields that can harm people, not just on the LED lights.
By the LED lights?
Yeah, he says, saying that by the LED lights, there are some fields coming that can harm people. So he's asking if he can put this infinite loops.
I understand. The infinite, the ones which we sell has a characteristics of what I call absorption of this full majority of the spectrum of fields, which are harmful. There is a reason for it. It's the way we build it, and depends what he wants to absorb by just putting infinity, the normal infinity loop, or what we produce as an extension infinity. The ones we do, yes, it does. Now this we have to verify and confirm.
So, então ficou claro aí, Jefferson? Falou que pode proteger isso.
Pode o quê, Rafael?
Ele falou que pode proteger esses loops infinitos dessas questões externas.
Sim, Rafael, você fala para mim, Cash. Eu estou fazendo testes, né? E a minha dúvida é porque eu verifiquei, Rafael, que quando coloca o loop, o fluxo inverte. Se essa inversão, que no caso agora estaria despejando um fluxo magnético sobre as pessoas, se isso poderia prejudicá-las, porque eu teria um excesso de fluxo magnético.
So he's just adding the question if because he noticed by these radiostat measurements that he's making, these infinity loops, they change the direction of the flow. That's what he noticed. So he's asking if there is a possibility to be some harm to people if I change this flow with the infinity loops.
I cannot tell you.
Eu não posso te dizer isso.
Rafael, e eu também notei que ao instalar uma grave na residência, uma grave absorve esses campos, né? E o ambiente fica muito melhor, fica realmente muito mais saudável. Então, isso também é uma das finalidades de uma grave, né?
And he noticed also that with the MAGRAV system that he put in his house, the environment was much better by the measurement that he made. So it's something that we want to add.
Thank you very much.
Obrigado, Jefferson.
Ok, obrigado. Obrigado, Mr. Cash.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions?
Yes, we have Jalal. Would you like to go ahead, Jalal?
Good day, Mr. Cash. Hello, everyone.
Good day, Jalal.
Mr. Cash, you know we're gonna teach what you taught us today, and you know there is some who do not have access, so different kind of salts. So we find an alternative for the salts from the teaching of what you give us before. Let's say I take the salts from 1 cup, 1 life, and this salt, as we know, it is not anymore sodium salt. It contains a different kind of salt, magnesium, and a spectrum of this salt. So in the case I don't have magnesium, can I use this specific salt to the combination?
If If it is, yes,
Okay.
but you have to understand what that salt carries. In the body of the man is not just the salt. In the body of the man, you have to, there is more parts to be added to this teaching of today. But we add this in the future time when we go much deeper in teaching.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other
But
question.
try to use the, what do you call, the new understanding of the setup.
You know, we will decipher everything in it, and it will take us 1 year, no problem. So we have time. Okay. The other question: can I use sea salt, seawater salt, in this equation? Because there is a lot of people.
You
They
see,
do not
the
have access.
sea salt, if you get the sea salt yourself, then in the sea salt, you have a composition of everything ever existed on this planet. If you specifically go for certain salt, which is a, what do you call it, majority of salt in a in your salt, let's say magnesium or whatever. The sea salt game is a very beautiful game, but very dangerous game as well. If you are targeting for a specific performances. Because in the sea salt, you have from gold, you have from every element of the which is on this planet. So when you make a gas, it's a representation of everything.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes, yes, of course.
So we specifically go into the structure. One of the fundamental knowledge which we always put back in the backtrack, but we ignore it, but we cannot ignore it, is that every element in the universe which can be accommodated in its benefit or functionality in the body of any being in the universe is usually in the environment of the being itself. So whatever you have in the sea, it is already part of you. But to what extent of it your body needs it or you can apply it. There's a gold in all our bodies, there's plutonium. Every element you see in the chemistry, what we call periodic table, you have it in your body. But to what amount and what has evolution used it for is another point. We use gold in our body, we use all sorts of every chemical in the universe of man, which is the earth, is within the structure of it. Body accommodates it to build new organs, build new conditions, create hormones, whatever. We eat it, we inhale it, we drink it, and once it goes into our stomach and creates certain kind of energy and it becomes frequent enough, the body finds a way to shortcut what it was using before to become more efficient. The body of the man is not something as you always think is something we eat and go. He has a management control crisis and he has a management control new material crisis. So that's why we have allergies. We're not accepting these things, so we show our reaction. it is very well organized. What you call management team sits inside the body of the man through field interactions. How do you think you get your allergies? And how you take things as, oh, it works for me, because the body of the man is continuously updating its work, what he can use and how he can use that system.
Okay, Mr. Cash. Last question.
You exclude, you're adding it up. It used to be 2 questions.
Now I am tritium. Okay. We know from the reactors which is the dominator, about if I use nano-coated or un-nano-coated. So in this case, what you showed us here, I can choose which is the dictator due to the need. Because
Yeah,
you
where
left it open. You
pri-
see, you left it open. We connect how we see it.
you connect how you see it, but I'll tell you one thing, it has only one way to connect it correct.
Okay, I think I understand.
There is only one way to connect this setup the right way. And that's the reason I didn't put it in, because it becomes a copycat.
Yeah.
You understand? Before we did, oh, it was a left-hand turn, this was connected before that. This cup can only be connected one way to give an answer.
And this is, you will get it from your soul.
You get it from your soul and you get it from the knowledge you gained.
Okay, Mr. Cash.
This system can only be connected in one way, the correct way.
And that is?
But this drum is going to go a long, long time. First of all, does not have a physical connection in one position, but is controlling the whole structure.
Okay. Yesterday, you remember when you trapped in my teaching and I left you and I went away? It's the same thing. It's the same thing happened yesterday with you.
What happened?
It happened that I follow you
in the Persian teaching, in the Farsi teaching.
Yes.
I heard that you got there.
And I got trapped there.
You got trapped there. No, I understand. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. K.
Yeah, I've seen the notes coming up. They got you. It's not easy going to these classes and thinking you're going to walk away with it.
Yesterday was for me a very long teaching time, from 7 o'clock with Rick until 1 o'clock in the night with
thank you very much for all your support. Yesterday, thank you very much. Yesterday was the launch of Iran, what we call website, the Farsi website, which carries its own shop, its own Wikipedia, and everything else. And this become the cornerstones of the Keshe Foundation worldwide, what we call network, internet work. As we said, Iran will become the cornerstones of the Keshe Foundation operation for all our ITs, as the enhancement units are about to come online and will be controlled through Tehran. The operation of the space program, flight systems, all will go through Tehran. In a short time, when we introduce what we call the space flights and what we call interaction of the systems for transportation, all these systems will move system control into Iran. We have a reason for it. And then we create what we call subsidiary control centers around the world. The first part of this program, as we said months ago, which has started now yesterday, it was launched on the Keshe Foundation Farsi channel, and now will expand to all the languages. The operation of the Keshe Foundation, all the factories of the Keshe Foundation will be backed into this system. And gradually we build up a multi-faceted structure that all of you can participate in it. In a way, we are moving away very much from Microsoft structure that it can be controlled, and we are always in position. We are using what we call servers in Iran, and backed by what we call the people who are part of the structure of the running of the country. And yesterday was the celebration of the Eid in Iran, and at the same time the launch of the first phase of the Keshe Foundation IT network. And it's thank you very much to Youssef. We thank the Office of Iran National Defense University who's supporting us in setting up this with all the security and background. The doctors and scientists in the National Defense University who have facilitated this for us, and the people in the background who are working to make this possible. As I said, we have moved into a level of bringing technology in a different way, and this is the first phase of the IT work which has come out of Iran, and they develop it further. All the what we call operation of the enhancement units will be transferred through the system. All your data, all the file of the people who use the enhancements centers will be kept and monitored. All the backup doctors to support the enhancement unit operation 24 hours a day will run through these centers. And thanks to Youssef, a lot of work has been done, and now gradually we see the first phase of it. It was wonderful to see this happening yesterday. Any other question?
Yes, we have someone new here, Malcolm, and he has written in the chat, but I've also opened his microphone here, so perhaps he can ask in person instead. Would you like to go ahead, Malcolm?
Hello, yes, Rick, good morning, and thank you for setting up the unmute. Good morning, Mr. Keshe, and every knowledge seeker present. First time, I just say I'm about maybe 8 months new to the Keshe Foundation.
Where are you from?
From Ireland.
From where? Ireland?
Ireland, yeah.
Southern Ireland?
Southern, yeah, the Republic of Ireland.
From Republic of Ireland.
I think I'm maybe the first knowledge seeker, or maybe not.
No, you're not that many Irish knowledge seekers.
It's all good, good. I didn't know that yet.
Yes.
So, yeah, so first I want to say, Mr. Keshe and everybody, thanks for the absolutely beautiful knowledge and teachings. I'm catching up with all the workshops and making my first one cup, one life GANs. Your gift to the world this morning with the fifth cup of the universe, I'm in no position yet to ask questions about it, but it sounds absolutely another amazing, beautiful gift. So I have two questions. My first question is, I have ordered the visual enhancement unit with some other products, and can the visual enhancement unit be shared with one's partner?
No, we prefer not. We ask it for not to be done. The visual enhancement unit has a document with it that you have to send back and report on it. This is in a way international cooperation with the knowledge seekers on what we call trials.
Okay.
When you received it, we have all the enhancement glasses, all has been delivered, whatever has been ordered up to now. We have a stock backup with it. And this is what we want to see, what you see, and
Okay.
what it brings to you. Fill in the form, go back on the internet, register, and in a way, build the data up with us that we can see what has happened, what we see positive in gaining, and what you see in emotion and everything else.
Okay. Great.
There is why you have that simple thing. In the very near future, Keshe Foundation will deliver a specific enhancement units, like for vision, like for what we call brain. We will deliver a specific enhancement units to the medical teams, not for private use. This especially the visual enhancement unit is important, that we can change people with what we call different eye problems, different what we call vision problems, or what it comes through the emotion, it causes the what we call the vision problem.
Mm-hmm. Great, thank you. And my second question is, I'm an emerging fiction writer, and I'm currently writing, maybe the past year, a novel based on where the earth cleanses herself, but the people that survive are the new earth keepers, and their goal is to basically elevate their soul so they can reach the fifth dimensions and the other dimensions. Would you support if I was using some of your concepts in the novel?
No, as long as you mention us in it, no problem.
Wow, super.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mitch. Many blessings. Thank you, Rick, and everybody.
Which part of Ireland do you come from?
From County Kerry. It's on the southwest coast.
The most beautiful.
It is, yeah. Have you been here, Mr. Keshe?
Yes, I have.
Wow.
I have a connection to Londonderry. Yes, my brother-in-law is Irish.
Oh, yeah, Kerry is beautiful. We live by the ocean, so it's we're blessed. It's very beautiful, and
well, that's the most beautiful part of Ireland. Thank you very much.
Is, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
What we call the new structure in work of many knowledge brings them to use the papers or knowledges of the Keshe Foundation, as long as you mention the Keshe Foundation in it, because we know a couple of universities, if you mention Keshe Foundation in your index, they refuse it, they want it to be removed. This is policy by a number of governments in the university. But other ones, if you do it, there's no problem. And as we have seen, the Keshe Foundation Corona report in Iran has become #2 bestseller in Amazon last week, and we expect it to move to #1 bestseller this week. The report has been put in for 199 euro, and our promoters informed us yesterday that we reached #2 position as a bestseller in certain categories, and expected to be #1 this week. And these reports gradually you can refer to, because these are published papers and sold on Amazon and other places. Any other question? Shall we call it a day?
We did have one question from actually a couple of questions from Salmia. Perhaps you can answer. There's one regarding, excuse me while I find it here. Sorry,
Brown.
go ahead.
Is Lamia still around?
I'm not sure she's still here. Let's
No.
see.
Because
Yeah, she is actually.
did
Do
not
you want
see,
to?
no, we didn't see her in the Bucharest conference. I just wondered. No problem. Can you read?
Well, she was saying that, are you going to teach us about the cup of the Creator as well?
The cup of Creator is not for man yet. A long way.
Sorry?
A long way to go yet.
Okay, she also asks, do you think that the astronauts from all the space agencies could use this cup of life in the universe? Would NASA will accept it, or only the knowledge seekers?
The knowledge is open to everyone, and it depends on what they want to do with it. Don't forget that in what the Keshe Foundation is about to do in the coming weeks and months, we do not look into other space agencies, how they work with us. We look in a way how jointly all the space agencies around the world work together. This is the inclusivity which we bring, and it's the inclusivity which we have to emphasize. NASA is extremely, what I call, if you heard the teaching of last week, we have invited the head of NASA propulsion for moon mission or Mars mission for 2030 to join the Keshe Foundation. NASA is eager to open dialogue and direct dialogue with Keshe Foundation. They've been doing that for a long time. But the American administration does not want to show that the American scientists have literally a little understanding of the real space technology. And so they have been told that do not interact with the Keshe Foundation till their knowledge reaches the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation and they can show they understand about the same. And this is the problem we have with NASA. And sooner or later, most of this should come to an end, hopefully with the collaboration and cooperation as we have and we are establishing with what we call the American administration. Peace talks has dividends, and one of these dividends is collaboration between the Keshe Foundation and many of the what we call space agencies.
Mr. Keshe, Antonio had a question in the Q&A that relates to that in a way. And he says it's from last week's teaching, which to me, he says, should be welcomed by all governments around the world. His question is, in space, are there points which should not be disturbed, especially by nuclear of any kind?
Yes, planet Earth and its leaders, yeah.
Okay.
In reality, we do not have a problem in space. In reality, we have a problem with our leaderships or leaders, which have a problem with themselves with the new technologies. Our governments are too arrogant or too, what I call, self-centered to see that they can stay elite and they are who they are and what they are. And once we cross this barrier, well, a lot of things will change. A lot of things will change for a lot of us. Our governments have a problem. We went to, we were talking to what we call NASA scientists. And they said, do you know what has happened with NASA with Keshe Foundation? I said, no. They said, in NASA, there is a rule. If two people make a complaint, the person will be blocked from NASA. And nobody knows who the two, because usually it's registered who made the complaint. He says, in your case, we looked everywhere. We don't know who are the two people. And this is a problem NASA hasn't managed to sort out with Keshe Foundation for some times. Who are the two fake people who have made the complaint about Keshe Foundation? Because their own management cannot find out, and they have a rule they cannot do anything with it to sort it out at the moment. Otherwise, there are many scientists in NASA who want and try to work in different names and ways with Keshe Foundation. And this is a beauty of how things work, and we know how things are done. But as I said, we carry on with the work. We carry on sharing knowledge with the. You got to understand something very important, and I was explaining this to knowledge seekers very recently. The Russian Space Agency is years ahead of NASA, literally years. The Chinese Space Agency has followed the Russian Space Agency. Now they're bringing some new thoughts, new students and new school of thoughts, trying to catch up, to be better. And they're doing a lot of work in the background, what we call a homegrown scientists and technologists. The reason for this is when the Second World War came, the space technology program started, the cream of the space program of Hitler and rocket technology went to Russia. Those who carried out the murders, those who carried out all the low-level jobs, saw themselves to American to be the real scientists, and American believed them and took them. So when the Russians developed their space technology, they are done by those who understood the space technology. Americans had the, what we call Van Braun, which now, as we all know, NASA is working the hardest to get his name from everywhere off, because now it's proven to be one of the key people in murdering many, many scientists and Jews, where he was responsible for. And so we even have seen at the end of the Russian, what we call USSR, changing into 13 nations, the Americans Senate passed and paid 10 billion to the Russians to learn how to land on the ground the way the Russians do. That's how advanced they are. So we don't consider NASA as a main element in the space. So somebody makes a lot of noise, but the real research is done by the Russians and now Chinese. Chinese are deep into space technology and they have the finances to do it. Americans cannot do. That's why we see a lot of rocket launch. Everything else is gone to the others. What we call in the space technology, Americans are fat boats with no knickers, if you understand English terminology. They show to be rich, but they have nothing underneath. But the Russian and the Chinese the space agency, they are well dressed on there and they deserve to wear the fat boats. And this is what the problem is. We don't literally don't consider us as a space game player at all at the moment. They are more or less 5th or 6th rank in the world. And Indians are striving very heavy. Russians are involved in it. Brazil has certain activities. Iran is one of the top 2 or 3 in the space activities. There are very 2 universities in Iran of the 2 human space and the what we call the launch space are 2 different ones. Iran is more active in space and rocket technology than the Americans are, than NASA is. They get money, but there is no backbone to NASA. They played it, they landed on the moon first and the rest of it, but nothing is there. So we don't consider NASA as a major player. the major player in space technology now, 100% is China, India, and then we have Russia, and Iran comes in that level, and the rest.
Hello, Mr. Kesh. It's Salomea. Can you hear me? I'm sure you feel it because I participated in the conference at the soul level. For the moment, I'm not able to travel with the physicality. And when I can use the physicality, so I can use my soul. I think you understand at the soul level what I mean. And I put the wish to achieve all your objectives and even more. And I will support you from the background. I don't want to be any head of anything. I don't have any financial or professional interest. I just to spread the knowledge for the achievement of peace and to be equal at the world level and do not have superpowers. And if I can help at my humble level, I'll do from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for all your support. Is there any other question, or shall we bring it to an end? I think today's teaching needs a very long time of understanding.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Kesh.
Do you have any other things on your panel?
Oh, yes, there's one other thing, Mr. Kesh. Marius wanted to say a few words before we end here. So,
yes, please go ahead.
Hello, Mr. Kesh.
Yes.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Marius. Thank you very much for a organization with other knowledge seekers of Romania for such a wonderful conference. Extremely pleasurable, and I hope we'll be beginning of many conferences like this around the world.
Yes, this is somehow similar to what I was going to say, because it's not a question for me. It's more than a few words. So I would like to say thank you, Mr. Kesh, for coming to Romania. It was a great honor of having you here in Romania and also meeting you in person. I hope you had a great time.
You got a tie out of it. That wasn't bad, was it?
Yes.
You forgot to bring the pen to sign it.
Oh, in the following day, yes.
No problem.
Maybe next time when you come to Romania. And I also hope you had a great time in Romania.
Thank you very much, the Kesh Foundation team. We had a very successful meeting with what we call Eastern European group, the Russians and the Moldavians and the Bulgarians. And there's a huge, beautiful outcome from this conference. We achieved a lot, and thanks to you, the way it was organized, it was perfect.
Thank you. And also, I would like to thank you for being like a good parent to all of us. People were very happy to meet you and chat with you for a few words. I remember you had hardly had the time to take a sip of coffee. But everyone enjoyed the friendly manner of interaction and the little jokes and laughter that made everyone become a great, made everything become a great experience and an unforgettable memory. And
to the Kesh Foundation Bulgaria, Romania, and I'm sure we'll have more meetings around the world. We announced in the Kesh Foundation Romania that the Kesh Foundation has committed itself to building up the first factory in what used to be called Eastern Bloc. And we have started looking for a location, and we explained the reason why we have taken this decision. This is mainly by advice and decision of the head of the Kesh Foundation, that Kesh Foundation has products which is mainly usable by and can afford by the Western society. We cannot support what we call Eastern communities of Keshe Foundation, and people want to use because of our prices. So with her decision, we have moved production, or we moved production of the Keshe Foundation products into Romania by setting up the same as scale manufacturing in Romania in the coming months, that we can produce goods that is affordable by the Western Europe, by Eastern Europe, with the wages and everything else. And at the same time, we can introduce and produce materials that can be sold totally in different brackets and brought the technology home. And so we gave the news in the conference, Keshe Foundation's commitment to setting up this first factory in Eastern Bloc, or what we call East Europe, which in Romania in the coming months will, I'm sure we'll find a location that we can start the process. Thank you very much for all your support. I think your job has just started with the conference.
Yes, and it's a pretty exciting moment and unexpected outcome. I honestly did not expect things to work as good as they were in these days, and I'm pretty happy about it. And I would also like to say it was a real pleasure of meeting knowledge seekers from other communities as well. Greetings to our visitors from Moldova, Bulgaria, Russia, Brazil, Iran. You are all beautiful people, and I hope we will meet again soon and more often here in Romania or in other places in the world with the occasion of various conferences and maybe, who knows, not only. So I would like to thank you so much for everything.
You're welcome. Thank you very much to the Keshe Foundation Association of the Romania. And I'm sure will be more interaction and work for us here in Romania. Thank you very much.
Mr. Keshe, I'm being asked for one last quick question here for the cup. Do people use glass or plastic?
We recommend the glass because plastic has addition of its own fields of the plastic, which is the carbon and hydrogen and many chemicals.
Right, I think you've explained that before, actually, the previous cups. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I hope you will start working on a couple of universe, we call it, because then it allows you to be able to become part of a universal community where you can extend your soul or extend the soul of physicality and see which one fits you, befits you according to your emotion, position, and time and place. Thank you very much for today's teaching, and hopefully next week we'll start with another dimension. I'm sure there will be a lot of you trying to make these cups. Just be careful to understand it before you make it. Thank you very much, Rick. Thanks for everything from all the knowledge that is in the back.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Keshe, for yet another Knowledge Seekers workshop here. It's been the 300. I get some feedback there. I guess I'll have to mute you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you. It's been the 390th Knowledge Seekers workshop here on Thursday, July 22nd, 2021. I thank everyone for attending today and for participating in today's workshop. And of course, we'll be back same time and place next week for the 391st Knowledge Seekers workshop, as well as Tuesday of next week, we have the One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace. And that starts at 4 p.m. Central European time. Okay, and I think that's about it for now. There'll be other announcements in the social media as required. Thanks, everyone. And I'll just play some some ads as we go out here. Thank you very much.